So as you start your wealth building journey, one of the biggest questions you're gonna have is which assets do I start investing my extra dollars into? And as we've talked about in the past, the biggest thing you wanna do if you wanna build generational wealth for you and your family is you wanna invest the gap. Now the gap is the difference between your income and your expenses. And the money that you have left over between your income and your expenses is called the gap. And that difference is where wealth is built. And so what a lot of people want to do is they want to buy income producing assets. And that's what I recommend that you do as well, because income producing assets are some of the best things and some of the fastest wealth builders in the world. So today we're going to talk about the 9 best income producing assets. So if I was going to pick one that I thought would be the best of all, the first one I would pick would be stocks. Now, stocks are the best asset that are income producing assets, in my opinion. There's a number of reasons why, but one of which is you get 8 to 10% just for investing your dollars into stocks. There's no sweat equity in stock. There's nothing that you have to do in terms of going out and physically work for stocks. You put your money into the investment and you get an 8 to 10% average market return. Now, there's a number of different investing strategies if you want to invest in stocks. You can invest in things like dividend stocks, which are stocks that produce a high dividend. You can invest in index funds, which is one of our favorite ways to invest. You can invest in things like growth stocks or tech stocks or blue chip stocks, which are very large stocks, things like Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Tesla, all the big companies. But stocks are one of the best ways over the long term to start building up your wealth. And as you start to invest your extra dollars into stocks, you're going to see compound interest start to work for you. So that's one of the beautiful things about the stock market is compound interest is producing more income for you as time goes on. And there's a number of different ways to pull income from stocks, but if you're interested in stocks, I would check out our video where we talk about how much you can draw down in stocks, which is based on the 4% rule or the Trinity study. The second one is bonds. Now, there's a number of different bonds out there. There's a number of different types of bonds out there. And there's a number of different ways that you can invest in bonds. Now, stocks are more volatile than bonds are. Bonds tend to be more steady, but they have a lower return over time. And there's a number of different ways to invest in bonds, one of which is you can do corporate bonds. So you can loan money to companies so they can utilize those dollars over a period of time. In addition, you can do government bonds. So we have I-bonds, T-bills, all these different things where you're loaning money to the government and they build schools and roads and different things of that nature with the money. Now, the thing to understand about bonds is they have a maturity date. So typically you have to put your money into a bond and you have to hold it in that bond for a certain period of time. Now, this is a major downside to bonds because they are sometimes illiquid when you invest in them that way. So that's why I personally prefer to invest in bonds in something like an index fund, where you're buying a compilation of a number of different bonds, a basket of bonds, if you will. And what happens in that situation is if you want to sell the index fund, you can sell it at any time. So it creates liquidity in your portfolio. The third income producing asset is vacation or rental properties. Now, real estate is one of the fastest ways to build wealth. I've never made money faster than in real estate. And there's a number of different ways to invest in real estate. We talked about 20 different ways to invest in real estate in another video. I'll link that down below or put it in the card up here so that you can check that video out. But it's really important to understand which route of real estate do you want to take, and then you just go after that route. So there's things like you can invest in multifamily, you can invest in single family, you can buy Airbnb properties and rent them out, which really have a high margin, by the way. And you can invest in a number of different other types of properties as well. And there's so many different ways to get involved in physical real estate that it's really, really cool. And it's a really great way to start building up tremendous wealth. Why? Because in real estate, what you get to utilize is leverage. Now, what leverage is, it's a way for you to use other people's money so that you can get wealthy. So let me give you an example. Say, for example, that you want to go out and you want to buy a single family house. So what you would do is put your hard-earned dollars down as a down payment, and the bank would fund the rest of that property. And let's say, for example, you want to rent that property out. Well, guess who's paying for your loan? the tenant is paying for your loan. So the cool thing is the tenant is building wealth for you. So you're gonna put $20,000 down and say in 5 years, all of a sudden you have a bunch of equity. So all of a sudden the property has appreciated another 20%, and now you have $100,000 in equity. So the cool thing about this is the tenant is paying down your loan, and you get the benefit of appreciation and cash flow every single month from that tenant. So real estate is a fantastic way to accelerate your path to wealth building. If you invest in stocks, you invest in bonds, and you don't have a lot of extra dollars to put towards those, it's gonna take you decades before you can get there. But real estate is a way where you can retire much faster if you wanna accelerate your path. Number 4 is real estate investment trust, or REITs. Now, REITs are a great way to get into property and to get into real estate without actually physically buying real estate. So what a REIT is it trades like a stock. So you're gonna buy something like a ticker symbol. You can look at it, for an example, you can look at the ticker symbol O, which is Realty Income. And what that REIT does is it actually pays out a dividend every single month to its investors. It's also considered a dividend aristocrat. So what you do is you earn an income by investing in O, and it pays that dividend every single month. So it's a very cool way to get into real estate if you don't want to get your hands dirty. Another way to do this is you can also do crowdfunded real estate. And a great company to look into is Fundrise. And what Fundrise does is it collects a bunch of people together, and they all pool their money together to buy one property. So you can buy commercial properties, you can buy residential properties, apartment complexes, a bunch of various things like that. And it only costs $10 to get started into Fundrise. So those are both two amazing ways that you can get involved in real estate without having to buy physical property. Number 5, and this is one we've never talked about before, is farmland. So you can go out and actually buy farmland and hire people to manage that farmland if you want to pour crops, or you want to do livestock, or whatever else you want to do, and make an income based on that land. And this is a great way to diversify your portfolio so that you can hedge against stocks and bonds. So farmland and stocks have a low correlation against each other. Whereas if the stock market tanks, then real estate might take a hit as well. Farmland and stocks don't have that same correlation. So this is a great way to diversify your portfolio so that you can hedge against any issues with the market or any issues with your real estate portfolio. Now, typically with farmland, you can make 7 to 9% on your money. It may take a little more work, and it may take a little more equity. So that's why I prefer stocks, bonds, real estate, things like that. But it will help you diversify your portfolio for any other downsides. The other downside to a farmland is that it's very tough to sell, so it's not as liquid as these other options. The next one is to invest your dollars into business. Now, there's a number of ways that you can invest in businesses. You could buy a franchise like a McDonald's or a Subway or a UPS store, or you can be an angel investor in a startup or a tech startup or something like that. Or my favorite way is to buy boring businesses. Now, what do I mean by this? What I mean by that is you're going to go out and buy boring businesses such as laundromats, car washes, plumbing companies, electrical companies. All of these businesses are now becoming for sale. And the cool thing about this is when you buy these types of businesses, they usually have a really high cash flow. Now, this is another powerful way to utilize leverage, because you can go get an SBA government loan and they will fund 90% of the business, and you only have to put 10% down. What does that mean? You could buy $1 million business for $100,000. And what's happening right now is there's a lot of baby boomers who are starting to retire, and they want to sell these types of businesses, and there's not a high demand for it. In this tech startup world, this flashy world where everyone wants to buy cool businesses, boring businesses are at a discount. And there's going to be boring businesses in your area that you'd be able to thrive with if you look into this. Now, one of my favorite ways to look into boring businesses is to contact the owner directly. And I've done this before with car washes and various other things as well, where I've gotten in touch with the owner and got a much better deal. And in addition, the owner would finance those businesses so that you don't have to get funding from a bank or the SBA as well and dive through all the paperwork. So that's one cool way that you can look into doing this and see if it's something that you're interested in. The next one is peer-to-peer lending. So there's a number of services that you can do this with, a service like Lending Club, or you can do it in real estate as well, where you invest in real estate notes. But peer-to-peer lending means you're lending out money so that somebody can either buy an asset or they can utilize those dollars as a personal loan or something else as well. And the way you make money on this is you charge an interest rate where they pay you. You are the bank, and they're paying you every single month. So you make the cash flow on that interest rate. Now, I like stocks, real estate, other things as well, more than this, because if somebody doesn't pay or someone's not reliable, then you have to go chase them down. You have to go through all this paperwork and stuff like that to get your money. But it is another way to diversify your portfolio if you're looking for income producing assets. The next one is to invest in your own products. So you can go out and buy products, say from Alibaba.com or things like that, put your own brand name on there and sell them on sites like Amazon, Walmart, eBay. There's a bunch of different ways to do this. But putting your own dollars into products is a way, if you have skills and you have expertise in this area, to make another cash flowing business within your realm. Now, I like buying boring businesses much more than this one because there's a higher chance of failing when you start a product instead of just buying an existing business with its system. But at the same time, if you have an experience and there's products out there that you think will do well, this is a great option for you as well. And then the last one is cryptocurrency. In the past, you wouldn't have any income with cryptocurrency, but now you can actually start to have an income with cryptocurrency. So you can stake your cryptocurrency, or you can do a number of other things with it as well, like buying nodes so that you can start to mine cryptocurrency. And there's a bunch of great ways that you can start to mine cryptocurrency. For example, you can set up a crypto mining setup and make a couple $100s a day doing it. Now, the startup costs are a few $1,000s, so it takes more money to get started, but it is a fantastic way to get involved in another cash producing asset that will make money for you every single month, if not daily, depending on what cryptocurrency you're investing in or mining. So listen, I hope you guys learned a ton about the 9 best income producing assets. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. And if there's a video that you want me to make, leave it in the comments below and we will look into putting that on the list as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell as well. And if you like this video, here are 2 more videos that I know you're gonna love. Thank you guys again so much, and we will see you on the next video.